Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Are you ready? I think I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go. Way pop.
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Sí. Oye, muy buenos días a todos. Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. Great. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. We are LongLiveBoxing EnVivo Podcast. Siempre aquí, Manny Marrero.
Charlo Gringo hits.
Hopper.
At least it's not allergy hopper. We're going to break it down like it is, like it should be, like we know how to do so. And our brothers here are pretty excited on this Sunday morning. We actually woke up pretty early. You guys got your coffee ready?
I did. I was up at 8 o'clock today.
Damn.
Not much cerveza last night.
Not much cerveza last night. Just chilled. Watched the fights.
Not too much.
Not too much. Yeah, but we got a pretty good show today, recapping what happened not only this weekend, but a couple weekends ago. So, Sean, what do we have for this Sunday morning?
Man, so glad you guys are with us today, man. And nothing like a weekend where we get an opportunity to enjoy a little bit of
in-flight afternoon delight. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
You know what I'm talking about? Some of that afternoon action going down at you. Really enjoyed a lot of it, actually, of Leigh Wood and Josh Warrington. Warrington, a guy I've wanted to retire so many times over and over again. He was so confident last night. I actually heard him say Mauricio Lara in public. So that man was feeling himself, and rightly so. He actually had Hopper surprised. Hopper actually messaged us in our chat. Said, man, this is a good fight.
It is a good fight.
I couldn't believe it. So, Hopper, what do you think, brother?
I was pleasantly surprised because Warrington's usually, I call him a snooze fighter, man. This fighting style is just pretty boring, and it kind of reminds me of the old Sean Porter before he redefined himself a little bit, before he polished up. Warrington just never seemed to polish up, man. That's just his fighting style. He's gonna hit you in the back of the head. He's gonna grab you. He's gonna chokehold you. That's just what he does. He's gonna headbutt you. So a Josh Warrington fight is not typically too high on my list. But I was interested in this one because of Leigh Wood and what he did to Lara, and systematically just shut him down. And I was pleasantly surprised with Warrington, the way he came out, extremely aggressive. I mean, he was whooping Leigh Wood's ass. So and it was entertaining. Leigh Wood got caught in the first round, felt that power, and kind of changed up his game plan. Like he got a little gun shy, a little. And he kept taking some shots. Warrington kept bringing it. He kept physical with him. He hit him in the back of the head, got a point taken away. It was a very fun fight. And then Leigh Wood just landed some shots. I think with Warrington, he's always going to leave openings for you. And Leigh Wood took advantage. He landed a good left, followed it up with the combination punches, and that was all she wrote. So it was a pleasantly surprised, fun fight that had Warrington in it, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is exactly.
The Gators,
man, I'm on mute. Shout out to Nando Yama.
Are you rusty? Are you rusty today, Sean?
My bad. Bruce, all gas, no brakes in the house. Hey, brothers, saludos. And shout out to you guys for listening in. Appreciate you guys so much. I would go ahead and agree with my brother Hopper right there that I go into any Josh Warrington fight. First of all, I was thinking, like, after the last fight he had against Lara, I thought that was the last time we were going to see him, honestly. You know, he's a warrior. Not my favorite fighter. He's a little dirty, a little bit. But the way he came out, a little bit is being a little nice. He came out there.
You mean a Josh Taylor?
You know what he most impressed me with? It's probably his punch leverage. You know, the leverage he was getting on his punches was really clean. I think his distance was probably the best I've ever seen him. He seemed to be in good distance where he could take more chances, come in and come out. And he was fighting at a good mid-range. He was fighting good. Now, like my brother Hopper said, he is who he is. And so when he found himself starting to feel himself too much in that 7th round, those punches landed clean. That combination was super nasty. And, you know, he was out on his feet. And to me, I thought, you know, we could talk more about that in a bit when we hear my brother Manny's thoughts. But I agree with the stoppage. I know some people kind of split on it. But how I look at it is this way. We're not in the ring. We're not looking in the eyes of the fighter. And for the fact when it was stopped, the fight, he had just turned around because he had his back turned to the referee, right? So he gave him a chance. He gave him a little bit of time to kind of reestablish himself. And when he turned around, he looked in his eyes and he called it right then and there. So I take the mindset that he's making a judgment call because, I mean, it's literally life and death. Manny, what's your thoughts on the fight, the stoppage, and just all the way around? I know you're a big fan of Afternoon Delight for all aspects of it.
Love it. I mean, back-to-back weekends with Afternoon Delight. Back-to-back weekends, it makes it pretty exciting. You know, I do agree with you guys, although I don't always I do, but I do agree, man. I think this fight was better than I anticipated. You know, yeah, one of those things. But I think, you know, Leigh Wood is one of those guys that didn't take those 2 defeats. You know, he took them hard, but he came back and grinded back again. You know, he got over that Mauricio Lara, and then he's fighting again, fought again against Josh Warrington, which is a guy that doesn't want to give himself up, and he's trouble at times. And so for me, if you think about it, one of the things that you know, really surprises me is the way that Leigh Wood was able to adapt. And Hopper, you just took the words out of my mouth. I mean, he received that power. He understood that I got to respect that, but I got to change the game plan to do so. Yeah, we can call him dirty. We can call him do a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, you know, man, how aggressive you're going to be able to finally, you know, show what you're, you know, trained hard for. And, you know, you don't want to leave it to the judges. And at the same time, you got the opportunity, and then just Warrington, just I don't know why he took he just stood there, taking those punches, try to get the defense, and eventually one did land it. And so, as it pertains to the stoppage, you know, at the beginning, I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see referees, you know, and I know that, you know, usually they want to face-to-face with that, but I think Michael Alexander just knew exactly how hurt he was when he got up. He got up, what, in the 7th or 8th count? And then when a fighter turns around the referee, they're looking for a way to continue to expand that time frame to that. That's the timing. That's the moment in where the fighter's still not completely conscious where he's at. And don't you want to try to avoid that, because the minute the referee looks in your eyes and they're going to see that you're all over the place, that's the end of the fight. And I think Josh Warrington did that. And so as the referee approached, he looked at it. We're not there. We didn't see it, even though we see a lot of the replays. But we can't really judge, you know, that particular timing. And we're looking at the bar exercise, and it's like he's not there. Anyone that wants to continue to fight, and I'm not saying that he just quit. I think that Leigh Wood really landed pretty hard. That just really buzzed them out pretty well. At that moment, he's the guy that's right there, that knows and understands what happened. And so I have to give it up to him. Last thing we want to hear is a fighter that gets messed up just because the referee had the opportunity to pull that out and stop it. So I don't disagree with the stoppage. I think that from that point on, it was just going to be a massacre. And why would you allow the boxer to receive, you know, that magnitude of damage that can potentially cost something, right? So I think it was good.
No, definitely, man. Well said, brother. Absolutely. Man. And
so we all agree with the stoppage. We all 3 of us agree, right?
Yeah.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep. Do you want to go do karate in the garage? Yep.
You know what that means? Well, you know, that's a rare thing when we always agree on the same thing, especially when it comes to boxing. But hey, it's I think it was pretty straightforward. One, you have to agree that was a damn exciting fight. that's first and foremost. We all agree that Afternoon Delight is amazing, especially when it delivers the way that did. And I'll go ahead and take it a step further. Now, they had a interview that Josh Warrington did post-fight, and he was expressing the fact that, you know, he came off a 10th-month layoff. He was frustrated by Eddie Hearn's comments in the ring, saying that Eddie Hearn felt that he was, out on his feet. And he said, wow, it seems like Eddie doesn't even believe in me. He thought I was out on my feet. It's perception is reality. So he took that as a slight. He said, well, if that's the case, there's no way that I'll probably get the rematch. So what do you think, Manny? Do you think that the fight warrants a rematch? What's your thoughts? Does Warrington warrant a rematch?
Well, I think Warrington definitely wants the rematch, and he'd expressed it. It's just a matter of what exactly Leigh Wood wants to do. If he wants to be able to unify later on, whether it's with newly champ Ramirez, whether it's Alberto Lopez, or even Roy Vargas. I think that's the featherweight right now. It's going to go through a consolidation, and depending on what happens around that, then definitely it could be bound for a rematch. I just didn't see it in a way that it was more leaning to Warrington. I think it was clear the victory. If it was something like a split decision or maybe very close fight to be a draw, then I could see that. But I don't know. I mean, I think Warrington had great moments, but Leigh Wood was just much superior tonight. And so 10-month layoff, is that affecting? I mean, I've seen boxers, being more than that, and they still be very effective. So I don't know. I don't want to think about any kind of excuses. That's the boxer's fault for not staying active. And I think Leigh Wood has stayed active, and that is definitely a difference maker. If they do a rematch, I think, in my opinion, it's probably going to be more of the same. Not sure if you guys agree with me on that one.
Oh yeah, and I agree with Nando. That's a hell of a comment right there. We know the BBOC are the crooks of all crooks, man. They do a lot of shady stuff over there in England, man. And it's no surprise why Canelo hasn't really gone and tried to fight over there, man. It's a shady situation over there. They think Texas is bad. Shit, the BBOC takes the crown over there, man. So I agree with you, Nando.
No, definitely. Go ahead and reading his comments. Nando Llamas. I'm not ever going to forget about the British Boxing Committee. Our crooks they robbed Rocco Lara, didn't allow him to lose the 3.8 pounds 2 days for safety, juice to the gills, all good. Of your English though.
Your English though, yeah. So no, I agree. And then before we touch on, before we move on, I think Leigh Wood and Eddie Hearn after the fight, they were saying that Leigh Wood might move up to 130 pounds and shit. I welcome that. There's some good fighters at 130 pounds. You got Vaquero there, waiting. You think maybe that's something that they could probably do? Joe Cordina. I know they mentioned Joe Cordina. Of course, they're gonna try to keep all the on that side of the world. But if Leigh Wood moves up to 130 pounds,
and keep in mind that Vaquero fights now against Conceição, and so that's a very interesting fight for Vaquero to keep staying active, right? And I'm not sure what he's going to do. But
they didn't mention Lara, or they didn't even mention. They didn't even mention El Venao, Luis Alberto Lopez. I don't want those problems, man. I was waiting for him to say, they're he's 1-1 with Bronco Lara. I'd like to see El Venao Lopez was there. He didn't even want to unify that. That would have been a great fight if he stays in that division, unify with El Venao. Nah, he wasn't interested in that fight.
No, I think I'd like to see better Roesi. That would be a fight that I like to see Leigh Wood and Roesi Ramirez. That would be something very interesting. Yeah, I know. I just don't think. If you ask me, I just don't think that he's going to actually move up. I think he's got some good fights. Sometimes when you want to move up, either you cannot make the weight or you're having issues. I don't see that in Leigh Wood. He came in optimist condition yesterday, but I do feel like if you're entertaining yourself to move up, get a nice big fight right now, and you got two candidates right now. You can do it at the featherweights, and that's Roesi El Venao. That's absolutely. Anything over after that is just definitely 130 would be the best. But man, showcase it, unify.
Shit, I think Robesi, man. Robesi is. There's a lot of Mexicanos there, but I think Robesi is probably the cream of the crop right now.
Well, I mean,
that's just keeping it real, man. I think very highly of Robesi, man. Robesi is he's a bad man. He took his loss in his first pro debut, but ever since then, he's just on another level. And I think if he was to face one of the Mexicanos, I think I'd probably give the edge to Robesi. And I don't think Leigh Wood wants nothing to do. If he doesn't want anything to do with Venao Lopez, much less with Robesi. He ain't want none. They didn't even pronounce any words that started with the R. That's how bad it was.
So they're currently 4 champions in featherweight, right? And we've just talked about both, right? So what about why is it that your other Mexican, Rey Vargas, it's not within that mix in terms of?
He's PBC. That's that's the whole. But lately, the PBC has been doing a good job of making fights. So I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm
I
saying.
don't know.
Is he really in that
I
mix to
mean,
be able to beat
I
either
don't
one of
think.
them?
I don't
Rey
think.
Vargas?
I don't know. I'm not in the minds. Obviously not in Leigh Wood's camp or anything like that. I'm not Eddie Hearn or anything, but it would make sense to try to fight one of the Mexicans, man. They're popular, they're champions, but I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know. Does he want that smoke? It doesn't look like it. He didn't bother to call any single one of them out, man. But now Ray, none of them. He didn't. They don't want. It doesn't. They mentioned Joe Cordina, but that's moving up.
Yeah.
All right, no, good stuff right there, brother.
That'll be a good afternoon delight, though. A Mexican going on against Leigh Wood over there. I mean, afternoon. I mean, I would say.
I know Ray Vargas will go over there. Venato's proven to go over there.
Oh, he's going. Yeah,
territory. He's Michael Conlon up in.
So Nando Yama says, do you guys think Top Rank is slow playing the featherweights, waiting for Monster to move up?
Well, I mean, Monster has one more mission at one more task at hand, right? With the Pales.
Yeah.
And then we'll see there. But man, the possibilities of Monster newly going up to 126 pounds because Top Rank has some champions there, right? With El Venao and then Robesi. And man, I don't know, slow playing. I would have to say yes, because that's Top Rank is known to do that. Like when Shakur moves up, then Navarrete moves up, so they're all constantly. It's a business. It's a chess making.
Yeah, but I hear that a lot, man. I hear that a lot, and I just people don't understand. Inoue is a very small guy, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how well he's going to suit himself at 126 at this particular moment.
Tank's been calling him out.
Well, I mean, this is BS. This is just all marketing, to be honest. You cannot match anyone, first of all, that big of a difference. You can't do that. The power is completely different. The skills, Inoue possesses much better skills, the IQ when it comes to boxing, but the power, you just have to understand, is the same thing that we'll talk about later on in two divisions different, moving up, and then the power of someone it has been in that division. And right now, I don't think Tank has really identified his identity, what division he wants to be. 147, 140, 135. Being it small like that, I just don't see that happen. And I think people are just adding. I mean, just jumping up. Before the gun is on moving him up in 126 and 126. It's a different. It's a different power. No. I think he's got to be able to unify and maybe undisputed. What may go after that IPP Instapilot? I don't know. That's probably why people are saying there's no one else that he can actually fight at, that make it interesting for the fans enough to at the 124. So, why would you, I'm sorry, 122. So why stay there? But I think he needs to take care of business right now. He will. Let's see what happens. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just going to start and again bulk up, and I don't know. He's not going to grow. He's not going to go taller, but he's just going to have to be very, very, very ready for that 126 if he decides to do that, in my opinion.
No, definitely appreciate the comment. Thank you, Nando Llamas. I definitely do see the long game being laid out. That is a potential option for them, and I could definitely see that. And I also agree with my brother. I guess today's the day to agree.
Wow.
Excuse me, with my brother Hopper, as far as Robesi Ramirez, they don't even say the letter R. Yeah, when at 126.
They didn't pronounce any words with the letter R.
Yeah, they skip those words. So obviously he gets great respect, and I also agree with my brother Manny that I think that Rey Vargas, hear me out. I think that Rey Vargas, his name he doesn't get the respect he deserves. I'll say that. Yeah. Like he's not mentioned. To me, he doesn't seem to be feared like the other guys. Like he's somebody like almost like an afterthought. Maybe that is the promotional side of the street stuff.
The way because the other guys are so, come forward and, very Mexican style, and Ray's a little different. He's a little awkward. He wants to actually box, but Venao and Lara, they come right at you.
I don't know. I'm ready for seeing any of those guys unification. That's what I'm ready for. I really don't care about Josh Warrington again. I mean, let's see where he moves on and see if he can kind of go back. Could he be a champion? Yeah. I mean, we're probably going to see any of these guys. Even Leigh Wood goes up, and that puts Warrington in a good position to probably contend in the future. But right now, come on, let's unify. Let's just get some good fights going on. You are in mute.
Gringo.
Mutado.
You're in mute.
Estás
My bad.
muted.
I'm killing with the mute today. It's like I'm at work. Shout out to our brother Chicano Prophet. Salute to Long Live Boxing crew in the house. Thank you very much. And Chicano Prophet said he hope he hasn't missed the greatness of Canelo Alvarez portion of the show.
Every show.
No.
Show.
That hasn't happened yet. There's still an opportunity, and actually my brother Hopper has a rant that we'll be making sure to get that in there. So thanks so much for joining and appreciate it. But like Nando Llamas is saying, I do believe there is some definitely debate there. 126. There's so many different routes the division could take. But the thing that I do appreciate it, and I think that the one niche that DAZN has found that I continually say, they find the lower weight divisions, right? And at the female boxing, it's easier to make the fights. The fights get made, and that makes me as a fan excited because we can talk about these names, and it's not 2 years, 3 years down the line or more. These fights can legitimately happen. It's just a matter of the planets aligning and the availability of the fighter, and if nobody gets hurt. But the possibility of the fights, that's probably why I find myself getting more excited because I know the reality of the fights happening is there. They may not happen as quickly, but the possibility of them happening overall, like even weight talk is it. If he was at a higher weight division, let's say he was at 147, 154, never, right? But because of his being in a lower weight class, even as great as he is, he's a pound for pound fighter. The possibility is there. So I love that. That's why I appreciate the lower weight division so much because fights actually happen.
Well,
that's you actually say for lower weight division. That's
not only that,
where fights happen.
Not only that, the boxer wants to have it, wants to stay active. How many times Leigh Wood has fought this year? 3 times, right? And so they want to stay active. They know that they're not going to make the millions and millions that probably either Canelo, Crawford, or anyone like that will make. But if you stay active and then you bring it in a division where pretty much Top Rank can't do anything they want with it and make a huge card, and then that keeps them eating, that keeps them active, and that gets them an opportunity to see what else can they do, whether if they decide to move up or not. So you want to have it. It's one of those things you really want to make those fights happen, and the boxer ultimately is the one that makes that final decision. You're mute, Gringo.
You're mute again. Yeah, and then Gringo, to further illustrate your point, you go back to the lower weights, man. They've been staying making those fights. Like go back to the Chocolatito, Gallo Estrada, Carlos Cuadras, and the Rat King, that era where they were all fighting each other constantly, even before that kind of division took off, when Chocolatito put it on the map. Before then, we'd have to watch them fight, wake up at odd times of the hour on the internet just to watch the first Chocolatito Roman Gonzalez fight, which is an instant classic. And no, the lower weights stay making fights because, they kind of
I love it. I became a fan of that for a while because I believe that it's giving us more exciting for us. Sitting on the bench waiting for this big fights to happen, the lower classes.
The lower weights been getting it done. Yeah, they talk about
the years. Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone wants to fight each other, and that's the thing. There's no A, B, or B side. It's just we want to fight. All right, whoever's the A or B, let's put it in negotiations, and the fights are happening. I don't think Leigh Wood will fight again this year, but it's going to be pretty entertaining if he gets at least 2 fights next year, maybe a 3. That's great, man. You just want to see that the improvement that these boxers get from the activity they have against tough opponents. It's what makes them their legacy. And I've always thought, I always believe in that.
No, definitely. So get to this comment real quick. Thank you, Nando Llamas. Appreciate it. And I fixed my mute button. Shout out to me. Seems like all those PBC are going to cross the street to get paid. Frank Martin might have messed up big time.
Did he mess up? Let's talk about that though. Good point. Good comment on that. I don't know, man. I'm kind of on the fence with this one because we talk about Shakur Stevenson and how he's kind of like the avoided fighter, but is he avoided or is he kind of pricing himself out of negotiation? Because Shakur, I get the Shakur Stevenson kind of I think he thinks he's bigger than what he really is. And he wants to command the A side and everything. And people don't even really, the casual fan, they don't really know who Shakur is. And I think he carries himself with a bigger ego because he's top rank and he's a great fighter. The way he's been promoted, but I think Shakur is it hypocritical of him to decline the Devin Haney's offer and then turn right around and criticize this guy Frank Martin for doing the same thing. In essence, basically, you know.
No,
I don't know. It's a tricky situation. Shakur wants to claim that he's being ducked, but at the same time, he's trying to give Frank Martin a very low percentage of the purse. You know, when you himself aren't necessarily this huge draw.
Well, I mean, that's just top ranks too. That's just the promoting part of it. But I do agree with you. I think he's very skilled, very good in what he's doing, and he's proven it. But I think you're right. It's way too much right now. Maybe there is something that we don't know. Maybe it's just something that we know he's who we thought he was, and then he'll start making that big fights, big money. But to be honest, 135 pounds right now, it's getting really, really difficult. And I got to tell you something. The fight, I'm glad that he's doing this kind of stuff to them, because I really don't want to see them fighting Martin or anything like that. The real fight that I want to see is Shakur Stevenson and Cepeda, Chong. I'd love. I mean, not Chong. El Camarón. He's the one that I love to see. That. I want to. Yes, man. This is a fight that's going to bring the best of Shakur. And right now, I can't sit down and tell you, Shakur's still going to dominate. I mean, a lot of people I know, they're going to say that because they don't know El Camarón. They don't know how much. He's starting to, last few fights, right? Being in the big platform and the zone and headlining and all that. Okay, now, but at the same time, people know a little bit more about Shakur. And the reality is that's the fight that needs to happen. We got to start consolidating some of the top major guys that have really good chances to become champions. Exactly. So now comes to a point whether do you really want that fight, or do you think you're just more than what you're being put in the table because you want the bigger major fights, but you declined that Gervonta Davis. So what is he looking for? I really don't know. You got good names beside that, and on top of that, El People Cruz. Right? No one wants.
You got a lot of players at 135 pounds, man.
Take advantage right now that he had an off night the other night, and see how else he comes back from that. Right?
Yeah,
and Gervonta Davis and Pitbull. Tank Davis don't want nothing of that.
Tank's not worried. He's more about money fights. He's not worried about legacy.
Don't want 100%.
No,
this doesn't make any difference for him this time.
And honestly, man, like when that whole Shakur Devin Haney situation came up. Wouldn't you want to do if you're Shakur Stevenson? I mean, Devin Haney, he's not a huge draw himself, but he has all the belts. If you're Shakur Stevenson, wouldn't you want to do what Devin Haney did? Take the lower percentage like he did with Kambosos. Go up there, prove yourself, and then call the shots. Shakur kind of wanted to. It felt like Shakur was forcing himself into negotiations. Like, no, I'm the big dog in these negotiations. Even though you have all the belts, I don't have any. I'm still the big dog. I'm still the A side. And Shakur kind of, I don't know, man. It feels like Shakur is a little too.
I hate it. I don't hate it. I don't like it. And this is why Devin Haney's getting a lot of respect, because he has done.
And he's fighting Regis.
Things that I'm sure everyone around him says, "You're crazy doing that," and then he goes out there, takes it, and now
fucking fights Regis, a more dangerous fighter.
I mean, shout out, Devin, man.
That's my boy. I know you guys have been hating on him.
It wasn't my boy, right? But he's gaining my heart.
Devin Haney,
he has gained my heart, Devin Haney, right? And to those fans that thought that I was gonna be a hater for life, no, man. There you go, bro. It's not even happening for you, man. He earned the stripes and getting more.
Definitely, man. So appreciate this comment here from Chicano Prophet. True, Shakur is definitely a big name amongst the hardcores, and I think the key thing there, hardcore. He's a hardcore star, not a casual star. So we joke about the casuals, but the casuals those are the ones that pad the purse. They're the ones that sit in the seats. They're the ones that go to the fight.
Teofimo Lopez is a bigger name. Teofimo Lopez is a bigger name amongst the casuals. Like, people know who Teofimo Lopez is. Like, my buddies that don't really watch boxing, they're big football fans. They know Teofimo Lopez. Like, guys like that. So maybe because he's Latino, but
I think outside of just that,
remember what he's done. He's been on the spotlight. He's got great fights, and then he lost again Kambosos. Okay, fine, for whatever reason, but
he's dismantled Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor too, exactly, completely. And now, the opportunities, the 140 pounds it's bringing, and then moving up in Haney, and I mean, no, this is good times for him. It's just he just needs to start taking care of.
You just need to get these fights made, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem, man. That's what I said earlier about Josh Warrington. Take them fights. That's what they're doing. Haney, taking them fights with not even. I don't think these guys, they think about it twice. Hey, are we thinking about that? Yes. Okay. Let's send the paperwork. Let's sign the shit. Right.
Let's get it done, man.
Man, great stuff there, brothers. Great stuff. So I want to get to my man, Nando Llamas. My mute is fixed. Zepeda can steal rounds with the insane activity alone. Absolutely. Has another comment here. Can Zepeda be Castillo to Shakur Mayweather? He's talking about part one. Part one. That's a bold claim. Let's just stop right there because I see the reactions were different. Hopper was kind of like, and Manny was kind of like, I don't know. So let's go to, I don't know. Manny, what's your thoughts, brother? Like, how do you feel about, Nando Llamas is our man, right? No doubt. 100 grand. But what do you feel about that comment?
Well,
do you agree with it?
That's good conversation, right? I just wouldn't immediately agree right now into that, but I'm sure he's got his point and to think about that right now. I just need to see a little bit more in Shakur with some of these big fights, right? It's not that he has proven anyone differently because he has done amazing things at the 130 and moving up to 135. He has yet to be challenged at 135, in my own opinion. So right now, just to have a comparison like that, it's a good thought, but at the same time, we got to give some thoughts to be able to bring our perspective. But nothing wrong with it. It's just this conversation. That's awesome.
No, definitely. Hopper, what's your thoughts, brother? I see you over there sweating. What's your thoughts on that? Can you see it? Zepeda, can he beat Castillo?
I think he can. I just think Zepeda and Castillo kind of very different, similar styles. I think Castillo in that first fight, it was very, if you go back and watch, he was very dirty. He roughed Mayweather up. I don't think that's Zepeda style. Zepeda is just going to overwhelm you with punches. But I do get the sense that maybe he can be the yin to his yang, I guess, the good dancing partner, because the way I think he can be the Marquez to his Pacquiao, the way the styles just mesh with Marquez, the elite counterpuncher, and Pacquiao, the super aggressive, that kind of a style clash. I think Zepeda with his overwhelming punches and Shakur with his defensive ability, I think that meshes well. I think that meshes really well.
And one last thing, when you're
I agree with Nando.
When you're going to be an underdog, if that fight ever happens, like Zepeda and Shakur. Typically in this case, the underdogs, they just pull out something. They just se crecen de tal manera, and we know it. Wow, we've seen how he has been able to do a lot of different things to be able to put his name out there. And even Nando said that right there, that Zepeda with his jab, he can steal some rounds. He can do some damage. Remember, I see Shakur like a lot of stationary boxer. He's got a great jab and comes in pretty strong, but in defense. But I can see Sean increasing the level of aggressiveness throughout the fights that allows the Shakur to get out of his comfort zone. And let's see how he can pivot and all of a sudden being able to adapt to a different maybe style, or maybe he can just pull him back and press him. I mean, so those are the small things that I want to continue to see. And I think right now there's a lot of different boxers in that 135 that can actually exploit their talent or give them problems, but at the same time react. Same thing as Haney and Lomachenko. Haney knew the footwork, the speed of Lomachenko, and he had to adapt in a way that, I didn't see him performing that bad. I didn't agree with the judges in the decision, but at the same time, that's what makes a good entertaining boxer to be great, is how can you overcome all the things you go in the ring and you were not expecting it and still perform at the highest level.
Yeah, definitely, man. Good stuff there. Shout out to you, Nando Llamas, going to the Haney Prograis fight. That's going to be a hell of a fight, man. Always encourage everybody, if you get the opportunity to really support the events and really get, the true essence of going to a fight.
In your city.
If it's in your city, man, you got to go, brother. You got to go. And you're going to get your money's worth because there's going to be a hell of a card. Sometimes it'll be like 10, 15 fights. There'll be local people on the card, which is great. You can interact with them. There'll be their families there. So I love it. So shout out to you, Nando Llamas, for going. That's amazing. That is some good stuff right there. And, you know what's coming up now?
Oh, hey!
And where I'm coming from, because it's mind-boggling to you, yeah.
That means only one thing. Booger sugar alert. Crazy talk. Yeah. So this is the dream card of Senor Oscar de la Hoya. His dream card would be.
He's got JoJo in there, the dream card.
Hey, it's a dream card.
I love JoJo.
So he wants a guy who actually he's been falling off a little bit with this. He wants to see Garcia Lopez, Stevenson Zapata. We were talking about Munguia Berlanga. Manny loves that one. He's sweating watching that one. And Schofield Diaz. What do you guys think of that card, real quick?
Man, well, first of all, I don't think Shakur Stevenson is going to take a co-main event to anybody, man. You know that dude's dead's this big. He's not taking a co-main event.
He's not that big. He's not
Ryan versus Teofimo, man. I'd favor Teofimo heavy in that fight. Teofimo, if a focused Teofimo Lopez is a dangerous fighter who can beat anybody, really, honestly, in his division. If a focused Teofimo, the way he dismantled Josh Taylor like that, come on now. King Ryan is he's good, just too much hype sometimes with him, not necessarily focused. But I mean, it's a great Super Bowl card. I mean, the card that I think the fight that I would really love to see, it's probably realistic out of all those 4 fights, would be Munguia versus Berlanga. That's a main event fight. I would love to see that one. And you know who I'd be rooting for? That one.
Malanga.
Hey, pa.
Hey, I'd be rooting for that one. That's a realistic. That's a fight that I think could probably get done out of all those 4. Out of all 4 of those, my boy Jojo. I love Jojo, man. He's putting he did his thing, but I think he's a little past it right now. And hey, I guess it does make sense to fight Schofield. A gatekeeper going up against a young talent like that. So I guess it does make sense, but Munguia Berlanga, that's probably the only realistic one I think could probably happen in the main event on its own. And besides, you hear rumblings. I don't know, you always hear rumors and whatever, but supposedly Teofimo Tank kind of maybe, it's been floated out there for January, but we'll see. Tank's all over the place right now. So
yeah, Tank is searching for that next pot of gold, and shout out to him. But yeah, I think that was worthy of the Booger Sugar alarm for sure. I mean, I think that card is for one, I think it's very telling that, like you said, how he has the fights, even in his dream card, it's kind of like, would you really do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you really put your guy out there? It's kind of funny. And that he had Ryan at the top. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I was surprised.
So I know another thing.
Oscar talks a lot of shit. Oscar says a lot of things, though, man. He says one thing one day, and then the next day he says something totally the complete opposite, man.
Oscar being Oscar. That's all we
just depending on how good the Booger Sugar was that day, I guess.
Absolutely. So let's get to it. We got some time left here. Honestly, I was saving it for the end, even though I know a lot of people are high on him. We had him on before on a previous interview and had a good experience. Zurdo Ramirez, right? So he went to cruiserweight, fought Joe Smith, and
big boy.
In the big boy division, we've been disappointed in Zurdo, and how he performed against Bivol. I mean, man, you talk about a kick in the gut. I expected so much more. In fact, it was so bad.
Really?
Yeah, from Zurdo, I was expecting more. Against Bivol?
Yeah, I think we all did.
Oh.
Sean. I think we all did expect it a little bit more, but remember, this is where you got to sit down and say, wow, is Bivol really all that? And I think he is, and he just knows how to take his opponents away and stop their completely offense, completely take it out of heart, and then he just slowly but surely round. He does what he does best. He did it with Canelo. He did it back again with Gilberto Ramirez. But I think right now the decision of moving up the cruiserweight, Ramirez wants to be a champion, and he's got what it takes to be a champion. Unfortunately, at 175, he's not going to do it. I don't think he was going to beat Bertobie. Didn't beat Bivol. So moving up in a division for me that I categorize after Usyk left, a little bit weak right now. But still, there's a lot of great potential out there. We did see Jai Obataya the other day, doing what he does best. And then, I think Ramirez is going to have a much better, outcome when it comes to that. I think he feels great. He was big boy, big heavy, man. And so I think this is a good entrance for him to explore the division that he can potentially, be able to contend for a title, and that's what he wants, and he's looking for that opportunity. You're not going to have it the 175. And I was having a conversation with someone that why would you move and don't keep trying? Sometimes you just got to pull back and say, hey, I try my best here. I don't think I can see that happening again. Let me move up and maybe see if, some of these guys, Arsen, you got Badu Jag, Opataya, Chris Blime, Willem. So why not? And then making this introduction like that and performing the way he did last night, I guess Joe that, still has some, right? So I was entertained. It was good. I watched it this morning, by the way. Didn't watch it last night, but it was all that I was expecting. I know I couldn't watch it last night, but it's what I was expecting of Zurdo Ramirez, to really see how can he do these things that he does well, in a higher weight class and on a class that he has a lot more chances to capture a world title.
No, well said. Yeah, and actually, shout out to Nando Llamas for a comment. Excuse me. Zurdo actually looked mobile last night. I agree. He showed a lot of mobility, good movement. His punch placement was really good too, I thought. And I thought he had some good effectiveness in the beginning. I thought he was dominating, and in the second half, it got tighter, a lot closer. I don't think the scorecard reflective of the actual fight.
Well, I think I did see Smith winning a couple more rounds. I think it was
towards the end, yeah,
91,
for sure.
91 was it? Like 9 rounds. They have 9 rounds to 1 or something like that.
I had it like I had to do math in my head real quick, not embarrass myself.
Yeah, it got
I
close.
had like 7-3, 6-4.
7-3.
Zurdo.
Okay.
Yeah, but the thing that I did appreciate, is that definitely there was no quit, and I think the fact that with both fighters coming off the losses the way they looked, they showed that they still got that heart of a champion, which, I would never say I would question, but they were just so disappointing in both. One, he was just pure dominated. And the other one, it seemed, as far as in Zurdo, he never really put the effort that I was looking for.
Last night, you think so?
No, I'm talking about Bivol, man. I like living in the past, brother. But yeah, so yeah, I love what I saw yesterday. I was excited by it. It was an entertaining fight, all the way around. So I thought it was great. And again, shout out to both guys. A little wide on the scorecards. If you haven't got a chance to go, watch it, I would definitely encourage you to watch it. And I'll say this: this is definitely the weight class for Zurdo. If he's going to continue to fight like this, 10 rounders. Have that good body movement, and I think he's definitely, can make his mark there. And then shout out another Nando Llamas comment. Bandu Jack, marketable fight. I like that next. Yeah.
I think he may have to fight one more fight with someone who can't think of anyone.
Yeah,
right now,
but no, Zurdo.
I think he'll have to have that, because I know for a fact that Badu is the one that I would like to see it. I think Opataya is going to eventually give the rematch to Marius Breedis, and that's going to probably settle things up, and that fight could actually bring a trilogy. So that organization right there, when it comes to the IBF, the IBF, I think that, it's going to be a little bit tougher, but he's got good chance with any other one else. I just want to see him a little bit more. I do agree with Nando. I think it was more mobile. Very interesting that in a heavyweight division and how comfortable he felt, because when we saw the Bivol fight, he was drained. He was not, I don't know if the 175 was very difficult for him to stay, at that weight, dehydrated. I'm not sure, but he just didn't look nothing like we know that what Gilberto was capable of.
Yeah, man. So
Zurdo looked good because, like Gringo was saying, Bivol didn't just beat him. Like, he took his boxing soul. Bivol demoralized that guy, man. And we all expected Zurdo to go in there again in the Bivol fight, or at least be competitive, and he just got waxed. And no, last night he looked good, man. I know Nando said he was mobile, and I haven't really seen Zurdo that mobile up until his tacos are ready, and that's when he runs up to the counter because big. But now Zurdo's a big boy, man. That's Gringo too. Tacos are ready, and he's mobile.
Now he can eat some. Now he can eat a lot of those.
Zurdo was moving around, man, moving around well.
Good.
He was aggressive. He was fighting off his back foot extremely well. Like Nando says, that Malik Scott edition, man, that's it. It's gonna pay mad dividends. And he was barking orders at him at the corner, man. He was cussing at him. You know, fucking last round. That's the kind of attitude somebody needs, man. And now Zurdo looked great, man. He's a big boy. And credit to Joe Smith Jr., man. He's always gonna bring it, man. He's always one. He was outmatched, outgunned against Bitterbeef, but come on, I mean, who isn't? But But no, credit to Joe Smith Jr. Very fun fight, very exciting fight. I watched this morning as well.
You were giving me shit about that.
No, I said same. I said I did the same.
Okay.
This is a no judge zone, guys. No judging here.
There was just so much. I went to Roadhouse last night with the family, and that country fried steak put me on my ass, bro. When I got home, food coma like a a very fun fight. Zurdo, credit to Zurdo for coming back, man. I hope he refines that spirit, that boxing passion, because I still think he has a lot to give. Maybe at cruiserweight, and Joe Smith Jr. Hey, man, he's still giving that work. So good, fun fight.
Here we go, guys. I know you've been waiting for it. Chicano Prophet, here we go.
Qué lindo, él dijo resplandor. ¡Ay, mierda! I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
That can mean only one thing, guys. That means our brother from another mother, Hopper, is about to lay wood. Then it's all good. Get ready.
Payday. You want payday. I know that.
Take it away, brother.
Goat Canelo, Team Canelo. Now, my thing is Jermell Charlo, man, the Charlo twins. The better of the Charlo twins, man. If you're gonna call somebody out, you're gonna spend years calling him out, man. Go out there at least and the way he performed. Come on, guys. I mean, he was trying not to get knocked out. He tasted the one punch in the first round, like I said at my Hopper thought, and then just went in survival mode. I thought that was kind of whack. Like, you call somebody out for years. You not only call him out, but like, you shit talk him. You talk down on his name. You discredit his skills, his resume. You could do this, you could do that, and then you go in there and then when he's in front of you, that lion turns into a little kitty, man. And I just thought it was a little funny, man. A little embarrassing for Jermell to talk all that shit and then go up in there in front of the real lion and then act like that, man. Then I've said enough in the Hopper thought, man. And Jermell, now he wants revenge for his brother. They're setting up the storyline, which is cool. It's gonna sell revenge for my brother, but come on. I said it before. Canelo could probably whip both of them on the same night. After Jermell, they should just brought Jermell out. Canelo would probably knock them out. So no, come on, man. Quit calling this guy out if you're just gonna go in there and do that. El chingon.
Yeah, well said, brother. And actually going with the narrative, Jamal is actually falling right in line with the storyline of my brother Hopper, saying that he's going to want to get revenge for his twin. Jamal says, I'm going to get revenge against Canelo Alvarez in what? Tiddlywinks? Spades? I'm not sure it's going to be boxing because I'm not seeing that happening. Because one thing that I'll go ahead and say here for myself is that, yeah, that fight was hard to watch. Unlike my brothers here, I'm the PBC apologist, not going to apologize for it.
He's got a picture of Al Heyman in his wall.
Yeah, but I have to go ahead and say I had to turn that picture around because I didn't want Al to look at that fight. That fight was deplorable. Shout out to them getting that deal done, getting negotiated. But, you want to have at least something to point to and say, hey, he gave his best effort. But if not to really engage and compete. Now, if you look at the numbers, which we like to tend to do, as far as the number of punches thrown, they're pretty similar. But, you have to put yourself out there, take risk. Now, and I've been very critical over the years of Josh Warrington, calling him dirty and things like that. But if nothing else, he'll go ahead and he'll go out on his shield. And that's what I like. And that's what I appreciate. So I never want to question the man's heart, but I can question the man's effort. And it just wasn't there. And for me, I say as a fight fan, as a Houstonian, as a brother, I've checked the boxes, right? I'm a Charlo apologist, PBC apologist, and that was one of the lowest moments for me as a fan of how poorly his effort was. In fact, it was so bad that I was actually thinking like he should just retire. If you're not going to at least put effort, what's the point? Because we put the effort as fans to defend you, to defend the sport, and then to be on the highest platform, and then to get the opportunity, it's an insult to us as fans. Across the board.
After you called them out for years, bro. That's the thing about it. Like, you're gonna call somebody out for years, man, I ain't gonna do that, man.
Yeah, man, for years. Shout out to Nancy in the house. Saludos. Some of my favorite boxing guys, LongLiveBoxing. Yeah, we love you too. You're amazing, Nancy, the best in the world. Nando Yamas. These PBC dudes, I'm one of them. A bunch of half-steppers. Damn. Give me Bud Crawford, Canelo instead of Cinco de Mayo. Instead on Cinco de Mayo. Okay. We'll definitely get into that and see if that happens. All right. So shout out again, Nancy. She's drinking her cafe leche. All right.
Cafecito.
Cool. Cafecito. All right, Vance. Thank you very much. Oh, that's Breaking Bats, right? Shout out to them. Breaking Bats in the house. Another good season.
Undefeated, 6-0, never lost.
Sitting there quietly because we're on both sides of the fence, right? Hopper is pro Canelo. I'm a PBC apologist. Manny loves the Cowboys. It's all over the place today. So, Manny, what's your thoughts, man? Did you even watch the fight? Or you were out there living La Vida Loca? So, what's your thoughts as far as like just situation here? I know that some days you like the Charlo, sometimes you don't. But as far as the fight overall, what was your takeaway?
Just as I expected, and shout out to the round table. Thanks for having us. Breaking it down that week, and I said the same thing. This is a fight that's not even. This is a fight that even when it was signed, we did not see Charlo trash talk the way he normally does. Every conference he was just not even, he couldn't even speak. We did see a documentary. He was trying to talk and it wasn't precise. I felt like those words were scripted with someone that is horrible in acting, because I didn't feel anything like that. I am a lion, I'm this and that. And then in the meantime, you see Canelo, having fun with his English, so finally saying, I want to be well known worldwide. And I want to be able to overcome certain things that people, some people from different countries, they want to speak English. Tito Trinidad was someone that I don't really care about learning that big English, but he communicated well with people, and I had to give it up to Canelo. And he just did that. He did what he had to do. He worked his ass off to say, I'm going to improve from the previous fights, and just, not to prove people wrong, but is to just make sure that people understand that they're still Canelo for a while. Then you see the reality of that. You see someone, you guys talked about it, that just came in survival mode. Like, he had no techniques. I mean, if you look at the amount of punches he received and the way the Canelo would come in, double jabbing, not to really land those jabs, to get in front of him. And what do you think is going to come after that? That over right hand. In that round that he received, he came in with the uppercut. Canelo's got that left uppercut that you just don't know if it's going to land in the body or it's going to go up in the face. Billy Joe Sanders felt that one. And just to take that and tug down and use your right hand to cover up yourself, I just don't think that's proper boxing. There was no head movements at all, and it just felt like he just went into there to get a freaking paycheck. We all knew that, so I wasn't disappointed at that. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. And we did get into a debate with a lot of our friends. Shout out to everyone we have talked about this fight. And no, I'm very objective when I speak about Canelo. I feel it's right for boxing. I think that there's more to give out. And this is what I'm interested in hearing and listening and going out and watching some of these fights. A lot of people thinking, is the Benavidez fight, it's going to happen? And one thing that I've always said over and over and over, it was never Canelo's fight, that hype never happened. That was Benavidez himself. Did he have to go out there and prove himself in terms of gain that respect back again and get that opportunity? He has done so. But he's got a commitment right now against Bubu Andrade. He needs to pass over Bubu Andrade. I can guarantee you that's most likely one of those 3 fights for PBC. Who's going to be the third one if he gets to be Benavidez? I don't know, and I don't care. All I want is to finally, Mayo 5 de Mayo 2024, the date is set. The date is set, right? Whether you think that PBC opened up his debut with PBC against Charlo, guys, think about it. They are the face of freaking PBC. Whether you think they're good or not, he's the better of the both brothers.
The face of PBC.
He's the better of the both brothers. Yes, it's a disadvantage. I was disappointed in Charlo. I thought he was going to be like a Castaño fight, but you know what? Obviously, we knew how rusty he was. Spent some time after the Castaño fight, didn't do anything, and that's no one's fault, right? It's just it's like an appetizer for what's real to come. And that Benavidez fight that people are wanting to see, it's going to happen. I can't sit down and break down to see who's going to win or not. I think that's way too soon right now. But the reality is, we're going to start seeing those fights, and we can't start judging people. We gotta just because they think that you're ducking them. People say that he went to 160, 168 and didn't even fight Charlo at that particular time. There's reasons to that. You got to understand the complexity of boxing and the politics into that. And that fight was never going to happen. Did it happen on a time that it shouldn't? I agree, but the date was set, and Big Charlo Jermell could not fight Canelo. So who do you think they're going to put in? The best of the
Second time he
Charlos.
turned it down.
So what's the point right now of having Jermell now avenge his brother's defeat? And if he hasn't fought in 3 years and he's got more issues than anyone else, he should go out there and avenge the slap he got in the face against Caleb Plant. That will be a fight that if it's a main pay-per-view, I'll pay for that because I want to see that, right? But on the meantime, you know what? El Chingon's got the ball in the court. We got a date set. He had said it May 5 de Mayo of next year. Benavides, take care of that. Take care of Bube Andrade, and let's see them on the ring, because that's the blueprint for that. That's its plan. It's going to happen unless Benavides loses the fight. Adios, payday.
Adios, payday.
Payday. You want payday. I know that.
All right, man. Good stuff right there. Shout out to Remy. All right. We love you, brother. Shout out to you, man. And Miss Denise, we're going to go ahead and knock on the door of Charlo and ask to get the money back for you. I can't believe you bought that fight either. I feel bad for you. I streamed it and feel bad.
Well,
that's where I'm at in the world.
By the way, 600 only.
Team stream.
600,000 pay-per-views only. I mean, think about it. And I gotta agree with Dana White on some of the comments he said in an interview. It was a shit show when it comes to the production part of it. You know, even the commentators wouldn't think about that. It was all over the place. And you're talking about a showman that understands, you know, the business side of it and bringing the entertainment to the people. And you got to be major network at Showtime. I think that they could have done a lot better on this. And the pay-per-views they show, yeah, it's the third highest this year, because you got Canelo. Other than that, it was a stream weekend, sadly enough, because people didn't have interest in paying that. They knew the outcome of the fight. So let me just stream that and save my money. Sad.
He has nothing to say. Charlo didn't. He's speechless at this point. But we're not. We're going to go ahead and close things out, man. You guys have been amazing. All the comments, Nando Llamas, Remy, Nancy in the house, Miss Denise. Much love to you, ladies. Chicano Prophet in the house. Nando Llamas with the great comments, and everybody else listening on the audio version, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on the Twitch, twitching at you. Topper, final thoughts.
Tim Zoo. What's my motherfucking name? Tim Zoo. Next Saturday, Brian Mendoza, Showtime. Gonna be a banger, baby. I'm excited for that one.
Hell yeah, man. Way to bring it. I totally agree. Team Stream in the house. Can't wait. Joking. Manny, thoughts, brother?
Brother, yes, indeed. The path to eventually contend for a world title for the young contender, no longer prospect, that is Xander Zayas. Óyeme, tremenda pelea con Roberto Valenzuela. Sigue mejorando en todas las facetas de lo que es el deporte en el boxeo, ganándose el cariño de la gente. Aparte de eso, con su carisma, en el público el 100%, y siempre honrando, y lo digo en español porque lo respeto, siempre honrando su cultura, su idioma, aunque somos todos igual, pero la comunidad latinoamericana tiene a alguien bien especial, y lo hemos dicho muchas veces. Xander Zayas is going to be very special. Please slow him down with some of your expectations right now. I think Top Rank's going to do well. They got a gem, not a hidden, because they discovered it. They got a gem in their hands. All we need to do is slowly but surely coming it up, and I think the stars are aligning at 154. I'm a little concerned if Crawford Spence move up there. That's going to make it slightly a little bit difficult, but at the same time right now, those belts vacate. You know what's going to happen? Here's the deal. Very disappointed. Jesus Romero, I think he lost that fight. I think the judges just took him away from him. He is the equivalent to the Mexican future stars, and he just had to take and dig that loss against Lubin. So I hope he can recover. I still think that he's got huge promises in the sport of boxing, and I still look forward to eventually, in 2 years from now, see those two clashes. Mexico contra Puerto Rico. Maybe unification. Who knows? Or maybe for a world title. Like Xander said, I can beat a Mexican anytime.
Oh, man, he found a way to get that in there. And we had a way to get all you guys in there, and so happy about it. It's been an amazing show. But you know what?
Hey!
We pray for shows like this, and we got one.
If you listen, help!
I wanna go.
That means it's time to go. Hey, you guys have a great Sunday. See you guys next week. We'll be back.
Cowboys
Hey, yo.
Long Live Boxing, you know, they're awesome supporters of our show every Wednesdays. Please, everybody, go follow.
EnVivo. We are
live, ladies and gentlemen, como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it